So yeah, I'm Christina Roloffs. I am the naturalist for Iowa State Parks out of Prairie Rose, as well as Shelby County Conservation Board.
Yes. I'm Shawnell Richter, and I'm a self-proclaimed naturalist. Now I've been a part of Becoming an Outdoor Woman for several years and help host different events. And then we have, I'm Lydia. I'm her daughter, and we're kind of a package deal.
Couple of little tweaks running around. It was pajama day at school, so we're going to use that to show you how easy a lot of these recipes are too. So I think the first thing that we're going to get started on is the Hobo Packets, just because it's going to take the longest to cook. So I'm going to go over to the work here, and we already have a lot of our vegetables and stuff chopped up. We are ready to go with that. So for the Hobo Packets, you'll need to roll out some tin foil. Oh,
Can she see that screen? Yes.
I have a yeah, she sees. So you just take out your piece of tin foil and whatever you want for your vegetables. And we've got some ring sausage all cut up here. So I've got some cooking spray first. Spray a little bit of that down. Then I'm going to put in some peppers. I like peppers. And some mushrooms. Basically any sort of vegetables that you like. And then you can use hamburger or chicken that's raw, but you just have to make sure it's cooked good. So that's why we just went with the sausage for tonight, because it just makes life way easier. We got some summer squash, a little onion. I've got some potatoes. And then I'm going to put just a little bit of butter in there, because you know butter makes everything better. And then while these are cooking, we'll get working on some of our other stuff. Our Wi-Fi doesn't quite reach out to our fire ring, so that's why we're doing the fire on the grill. And then if you have any seasonings you want to stick on there, I'm going to stick a little Lowry's and some garlic. And then you just roll it up. We tried to cut our vegetables fairly small and thin, so of course they'll cook more quickly that way. We'll put this on the fire and get that going. Okay, so Shawnell has a hot dog all done here. So you can see what the finished product will look like. We actually tried a slightly different variation on it this time, so that's why Shawnell did some quick, and this way works way better.
Way better. So in the past, we've always stuck the crescent roll, or you can use a breadstick, whatever seat that you would like to wrap it in. And then we tried to cook the hot dog and that at the same time. And I thought, why didn't I roast the hot dog first? So I did that tonight, and way better. So roast your hot dog to your liking, and then wrap it with the crescent roll or breadstick or whatever you happen to have, and then cook it. I like my food burnt, so I roasted it a little extra, but this took about 8 minutes. So kind of gives you a timeline and kind of an idea of what we're going to do. So Lydia and the kids are going to go ahead and start roasting their hot dog. And then if you guys some time to get yours on the stick, go ahead and start roasting. And then when we're done, we'll wrap them so you can see the wrapping process, kind of whatever you want to do, but we'll give you an idea of what we do. Step out of the way for you.
Well, I don't know how to roast the hot dog.
Some other fun things that you could do, hold on, I want to make sure that I'm out of the way, but in the picture, is even using kielbasa or sausages, like bratwurst, whatever. So you don't have to use a hot dog if you don't want to. And you can just cook it to your liking and guaranteed. If you boiled the brats and stuck them on there to grill them up and get a nice brown, burn marks on it, then you would have that grilled effect. Don't feel like there's that's the kind of that you've learned over the years. Just play and have fun and discover new things. And you have happy accidents sometimes, and you have disasters others, and you just go with it. So that's the fun.
The same is true with the Hobo Packets too. You just kind of do whatever you like. It's completely up to you. If you guys do have questions as you're going along, I know there should be a chat box or a question box that you can put your questions in, and either Megan will pop in with those as we're going along, or we'll make sure we get all those questions at the end. And I do believe that this is probably being recorded. So if you happen to miss something, we'll get a link set out, and you'll be able to watch it at your own leisure.
Why is there turkey on there? Why won't
I'm gonna make up another veggie packet to grill. And I want to see, kind of gonna play with it actually. I'm gonna put some butter in here and see what happens if I can maybe do a little bit of sauteing of the onions. I'm gonna start that packet without anything else and see if I can get maybe a little bit of brown on them, and then add the veggies to it, and they'll maybe caramelize a little cooking.
No, that's not. No, it hurts.
I'm gonna pull that up loose just so that I can reopen it pretty easy, and it has a nice little vent to it. And pop that on here.
Okay, we have a question for you ladies. Regarding the Hobo Packets, have you ever used cheese in them? Does that work?
I would say yes, absolutely.
Probably wait to add that though, otherwise it's going to burn. Kira.
Yeah.
So that's my kindergartner that you just saw her face close up.
See, I jumped on the yes, definitely do it because I like burnt food. I would put the cheese in right now. But that's me.
See, I think you could do that too, even with these hot dogs. Take a slice of American cheese, put
That's
it
what I
around
was
there,
going to say
and then
too. Wrap it.
Yep.
Sure. Yeah. But if you put the cheese on top, it might not burn quite as much. It would just melt over after everything got hot. Again, play. That's the fun of it all. Is you get to create things, and then you can pass that stuff on, what works and what doesn't work for people, and you have those that knowledge to give to others. All right, I think mine's that it can. Okay. All right, so then he's going to come over here, and we're going to wrap hers. We have crescent rolls, so we're actually going to start here, and then she's just going to rotate. Oh, hold on.
Really, I don't know.
Want to slide the cooking spray over just a
Yes,
tad.
yes, I just saw that. Okay, hold tight. There we go. Is that better?
Yes.
So now, then a hot dog, just twist it on the stick and all the way around like a mummy. So seal that up, push both ends so that it's nice and sealed, and now she can go and cook it over on the grill again. Was that good, or do I need to do another one up close?
It wouldn't hurt to do another one, Shawnella, and maybe do it over by the grill. On the tablet picture, sometimes with movement, it goes dim on them. And then also, while you guys are over by the grill, would you mind taking a stab at the cheese question again, as the wind kind of picked up and it made it hard for some folks to hear?
Absolutely. So we said you could kind of go either way with the cheese. The cheese would be amazing. I like my cheese burnt. So I feel like if you wanted to put it on top or throughout your vegetables while they're cooking, you might get a little bit more of a charred cheese. Or you could wait until your food is cooked, and then you could add it, open your packet up, and melt it on at the end. Either way I think would work well, but I mean, cheese makes everything better as butter does. So I would definitely think that would be a great addition to the Hobo Packets. Okay, was that more helpful?
Yes, that was a lot more clear. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so you want to wrap it? Okay, but it's very hot, so you got to remember. You want to do it, or do you want me to? Okay, so let's see. We'll do one last one and get it roasted.
Hopefully that's the last one.
Hopefully. So I'm just gonna wrap it around. And the fun thing is it kind of puffs up while it's cooking, and then it stays in place better for you. All right, there you are. Started cooking. You gonna check your butter? All right, I'm gonna sneak in here and peek at my. Oh yes. Okay, so my butter's starting to sizzle, and I see a little bit of brown on a couple of the pieces of onion. So I'm just gonna keep watching it, and then I'll show you guys when I'm happy with it, and I'll add my veggies to that packet.
That is buttery, crispy perfection.
Okay, so is everybody having any issues with wrapping the dog or cooking them or anything like that?
Hi, Amber. Did you have a question for the group? If so, you can unmute yourself.
Kira, can you hop on that?
Sorry, I instead put my question in the Q&A.
Okay, perfect. Did you need them to expand on anything at all?
Nope, I got my question answered. Thank you.
Perfect. You're welcome.
I don't know what all bread they have, but it would be kind of fun if they made like a pretzel bread stick or anything like that, that you could wrap the hot dog in a pretzel stick. That was what mine was doing. So, I mean, the fun is like, I feel like you could do a whole lot of different things and create some different ways of doing like cheesy bread and any of those.
No, not to be mine. No one.
Perfect. And then we just had some feedback that folks may be just a little bit behind on your steps as they're going through, as the foil packets went pretty quickly at the beginning. So I guess if there's any highlights you want to talk about the foil packets again, or the dogs would be good.
Okay. With the foil packets, if you want to do any kind of a raw meat, I don't know how much, Christina, I was doing something else, but I'll just reiterate. If you want to do any kind of raw meats at all, really think about the size of that so that it's cooking appropriately with your vegetables. And again, if you like that tender, crisp vegetable, then obviously stuff is not going to cook nearly as long. So maybe take that into consideration. Like I'm sauteing my onions separately. You could kind of do that also with the meat. Prepare it a little bit before you add the veggies in accordance to how you like their things cooked and seasoned. So I think that would be just something that would be a smart, like even if you wanted to do hamburger, just do it in small pieces so that it's scrambled up in little pieces so that it cooks well. Same with chicken. You could do cube steak. You could do any number of meats. So just take that into consideration when you're cooking them.
Perfect. We had a couple questions come in for you guys. So one was, do you have trouble with the food sliding off the stick?
So they rotate on the stick, and like I was saying a little bit ago, as it cooks, it grows, and then it kind of will find a place like right here. It's connected to the, and so it stopped rotating for me. So if you kind of patiently let it do, I haven't had issues with it sliding off, but just in its rotation, yes. And just play with it and do your best. That's all I can tell you. Because mine was doing that with the first, but then as it continued to cook, that kind of puffed up, and then I didn't have any more issues with it, and I was able to cook it all the way around.
Perfect. And then we have another question. How long should the Hobo Pack cook?
I know whenever once again, it all depends on how you want your vegetables. If you want them done, or if you like them a little tender crisp. I know if I just grill potatoes and onions, which I do quite often, it's usually about a half an hour for those to cook.
What are you doing?
Perfect. And then we had kind of more of a comment, but if any of you want to expand upon it, regarding the packets, someone shared with us that raw shrimp works well for protein since it cooks quickly.
Yeah.
Raw shrimp sounds perfect. I love that. Yes.
Super down for that.
That would cook quickly though, right? So I would definitely maybe add that at the end. Something just happened. Are we still good?
Yep, you're still good. Yep, and we're all caught up on questions at the moment.
Perfect.
Mine. I wanna go.
Okay, I'm gonna put my onions over a little bit more heat. Let's see if that will focus in. You can kind of see I'm starting to get a little bit of a char on some of those corners, but I definitely want it to be more. So I'm gonna put mine back and let it continue to cook. I can hear them sizzling though. How is everybody doing with their packets? Are they having any issues with them? Did they get enough of the spray and butter in there so that things aren't gonna stick? You can open them up and give them a stir if you feel like that would be helpful. You can also kind of get a feel for how they're cooking and where they're at as far as the tenderness of the vegetables as they're cooking. Opening them, the more you open them, obviously you're releasing steam and all of those things, but I think one time opening, don't you feel like you're good? So if you kind of want to test it out and see where it's cooking, see if you need to move it to more, like I put mine over more flame because I really want to get those sauteing. Is anybody else having any issues with any of that? So Lydia just said that when she bit into hers, she felt like her crescent roll is still just a bit doughy. So think about that. If you're having it too close to the heat and it's getting too brown on the outside, which is the issues that we had when I first started making these, make sure you back off the heat a little bit so that it can brown nicely and continue to cook throughout.
We had a comment come in from Cheryl, and she said she's done hamburger, potatoes, corn, peas, onions, and cheese, and that's taken her typically about an hour. And then just a general comment, if the weather is bad or if that lovely rain in Iowa comes down, you can always throw them in the oven.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
So yeah, of course you want to flip your Hobo Packets over once in a while too. And how fast they cook too is how much stuff you put in them too, because the more stuff you put in there, the longer it's going to take for them to cook.
I keep mine pretty flat too. Like I try not to pile it all in the middle.
I
Yeah.
want a styrofoam cup kind of thing.
It's okay. Just go and get some of it. Yeah, we said we did it small to cook faster. Yep. It's a lot of preparation.
Just took a bite of my wrapped hot dog and mine's cooked. So
Mine's gone.
I don't think this one's actually mine though. So
That's okay.
So just a question, are there any condiments that you guys like to use on your rolled hot dogs?
honey mustard.
I have homemade stuff that's called Pickle Lily, and it is a green tomato relish. It is so good. I made I don't know how many jars of it last year.
I just like regular yellow mustard. I'm not fancy.
Hey, look, there's tongs here for us to turn. So. How convenient.
So don't always feel, well, she just flipped hers. I don't flip mine. I open them, give them a stir, and close it back up. It's on you. That's the fun, is everybody does everything so different, and none of it matters. At the end, you have good food, and that's all that matters.
You want me to start cooking the pickles since it takes so long?
It actually doesn't take that long.
Oh, I bet you said it did. I'm
No,
sorry.
it's just it can be kind of a pain to grab.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, we'll give you guys a couple more minutes and then we'll move on to our next thing.
I did exactly what you wanted it to do.
I need four. Got it? Yeah. Didn't you bring out that thing?
Yeah, it's blocking the wind.
Oh, okay, that's right. Yeah, there's another box in here.
There's a box block the wind.
Okay,
Her
so
onions did exactly what she wanted them to do.
We'll see if I can show you. Okay, so my onions just threw butter on the ground. I'll see if I can make a little well for it. Okay, so can you see my onions now? They did pretty darn good. So I'm very happy with that. I am going to add the rest of my vegetables to it now so that they can continue to cook in there and I'll get that perfect caramelization that I was hoping for.
I got another comment / question for you guys. So Deb had learned to make foil packets with a few things like ice cubes. Have you ever heard of that too, to keep them steaming?
Ooh,
genius.
See, thanks. We're always learning. That's fantastic. And no, I had not thought of that, but that would be perfection because it would create that steamed packet. Yes.
And a question for you, Christina. Would you be willing to share that yummy green pickle relish recipe?
Yes, I can do that.
Perfect. So we will make sure that's included in our resource email that we'll send out in a few days after the webinar.
All right. So I added a little bit of everything, it looks like. And I'm going to seal it up now and kind of let it cook. So now that I got my onions, ooh, I'll put a little bit of seasoning on mine. I did not. I'm going to put some garlic on mine. Okay, so now I'm going to seal mine up. And I probably won't open it because, again, I like my food well done. And I'm just going to let it go from here. Put it on the heat. Mine back in the corner.
Figured I'd better feed my husband too.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got our Hobo Packets cooking. We've done our hot dogs. How's everybody getting along? Are we ready to move on to our next little goodie? Are you ready to move on?
What is our next goodie?
I think we should do. Oh, we gotta get the butter melting for the donuts.
Okay, so we're gonna melt the butter that everybody else will be melting if you're cooking along with us. So whatever kind of metal utensil you have to cook, I have a measuring cup that I use that's made out of metal that I put mine in. Lydia's got a full mouth of food, so I'll do the talking for her.
It's so good.
But they make these really cool cast iron things, and so that's a butter melter. So she's gonna pop that over the heat, and we will get that melted up for the donuts.
Or you could just cheat and go throw it in the microwave.
Don't cheat.
Toss in the microwave.
But we can't put metal in the microwave. That's right. Yeah, I have this butter melter here, and then we have one in our camper too, because we have an over the fire popcorn popper. So we use our little butter melter all the time. Oh, it's already going. Oh, I don't have the email, but I wish I could get on my phone too and like zoom in on it. Oh yeah.
Zero. Get out of the camera.
I hope most of you have children and understand. We want to do the pickles next?
Okay, people are starting to move on to your next steps. They're finishing up their items that they've cooked thus far. I'm getting some feedback on that. And I do want to bring up real quick, I did have one of the participants send us a photo of them, of their cooking in the backyard, so we can share that with everyone.
Guys,
Yes.
Oh,
cool.
very good.
That is
Yeah.
Tina and her family's over in Eastern Iowa. So it looks like they got all your steps thus far on their grill.
that's great.
Good.
So I think we'll move on to the pickles next. So Lydia already has one started. So what you need to do, and I can walk you through this. I can find a spot to set this. Okay, perfect. Okay.
One quick question on there. The garlic that Chanel added, they want to know, is that powder or a salt?
Garlic salt.
That one is salt.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you can use whatever you want.
It's just what we had.
Put your shoes on.
This is
We're not
I'm
in
gonna
the
get
house.
nice and close over here so everybody can see well. So for the pickles, take a piece of raw bacon. I kind of tuck my end under just a little bit just to make it a little thicker. And you slide that on to your roaster. And then you put your pickle on over top until it sticks out, so until the poke comes out to the top. And then go ahead and wrap the bacon around your pickle. And then you just attach the bacon back on top again. And then you'll cook these until your bacon is completely done. Oops. My wrap is kind of coming off of here a little bit. They can be a little bit tricky to wrap. We pre-wrapped some at the before we started, and some of them have held up better than others. But I tried this recipe for the first time earlier this summer, and this has definitely become one of my favorites. Hold on to that one so I can wash my hands. Gonna get rid of my raw bacon now.
I'm struggling a little bit with my pickle spinning in a circle.
Yes.
So that's normal.
Yes.
Well, I just kind of find that balance of where it sits nice and then just give it a little twirl. It's you got it on the heavy side. Yeah, no, I'm saying like the heavy side just keeps falling down.
The butter is almost melted.
And obviously, we're trying to jam a whole lot of things into a short period of time to give you guys a lot of ideas and some fun to have. If you're doing this, you can take your time and enjoy cooking each thing as it goes and have fun with it that way. It obviously does not all have to be so quickly.
And on a normal night, you're probably not going to make 7 different dinners.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
Regarding
Maybe
your pickles,
like a 4-course meal.
regarding the pickles, is there some favorites that you have to use, or a particular kind that you should use all the time or steer clear from?
Honestly, I feel like you could have fun with whatever. So if you make you're a canner and you make your own pickles, have at it. I think that would be amazing. Because even if you did the bacon and you had like something that was on the sweeter side, it would give you your sweet and salty. I think that would be just as good. Cream cheese is good on everything. So just think about whatever you're cooking, that smoky flavor of the bacon, if that pickle would taste good with that. But I think a sweet pickle would be good. I think Lydia's very partial to her koshers. But yeah, I think anything would be nice as far as the pickle. And even the bacon could be fun because they have so many different flavors of bacon now. You know, they've got your maple, you have your hickory, you have applewood. Yeah, just so many different flavors of that. So that could even be something fun that you could incorporate, is the flavor of the bacon in accordance to what you're having.
I can't even tell my other side's cooking.
Okay, I'm gonna step away for just a second and put this on a plate.
you want to expand upon how you might incorporate the cream cheese into this dish? I mean, a lot of people enjoy the pickle roll-up dip, so just thinking that concept might be
So,
something
yeah,
we're interested in.
when these are all done, you cool them for just a couple minutes, and then you just dip them in the cream cheese.
So put a little dollop on your plate and dip away. I might be that person who like tries to spread it on and then cut it up and eat it that way, so it kind of melts over top of the warm.
I don't bite hard.
And I'm trying to here
Do this. Get out of
the way of
you
that.
burned your croissant. Did I burn mine? Oh, whatever one you were cooking.
So my bacon's actually cooking quite nicely. And it's to that crispiness. Some people like their bacon pretty, I don't want to say raw, but they don't like the fat crispy and everything. I love it all crispy. So I will definitely be cooking mine for quite some time.
I can attest to that fact that she does not like remotely soft bacon.
No. See, burnt. I like everything burnt.
Crunchy or bust. Yep.
So this could be, you know, something that's a little more time consuming. If you're cooking with kids, kind of watch the clock and see, so that you kind of have a time frame as far as obviously the safety of having a raw piece of bacon. We don't want anybody, although I know that there are some people who just barely like it cooked. So it is cured. I don't feel like it's going to be dangerous that way. Oh, Lydia's problem solving by rotating her pickle with another pickle.
We had one that the bacon just completely unraveled off of it. But
And if you don't have the sticks, go out and find sticks.
Yeah.
Peel them with help of a pocket knife if there's children involved. But yeah, you can use your Leatherman or whatever and peel it down and then put it on the stick. And I think honestly that might be better because it gives something for it to grip onto when it's on there, and then you have a better, you know, chance of it not rotating as you're doing it.
good. Yeah, the first time that I did make these this summer, I did use a stick, and we didn't have the rotation problem.
Oh yeah, because it would be grippy.
Yep.
So I know some people they get nervous about using a stick, but if you've peeled all the stuff off of it, you're probably just fine.
A little extra fiber. Never hurt
Ah.
anybody.
How's everybody getting along with their bacon? I'll be honest, this is the first time I've made these. Christina was telling me how delicious they were, and I was like, oh, I'm in.
So the first time I made these this summer, I just tried one, and my husband sat there and watched me make it, and then I ate the whole thing, and then he looks at me, he's like, was that good? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, why? Did you want some? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, well,
You should have made one.
yep.
Question on the pickles. Do you, when you're taking them out of the jar, especially if you're using a whole one or even a spear, are you guys drying them off at all before you put it, or you just leave the juices?
I didn't, but some of them did sit on a plate for a little bit before we wrapped them.
I would say dry them. I think that the bacon's going to stick better to it, and it's just going to be a better start. Then you're not going to have the drippings down on the coals or in the fire and creating more steam and things like that. I would dry them.
Okay, we got a question on the bacon.
Yep.
When you're cooking over the open flame like that, how do you prevent flare-ups with bacon?
Mine's dripping pretty good, and I have to say, my wood is down. The fire has burned down enough that it's nice, good coals underneath of it. So it's not really doing a lot of flaring up at this point. I would say, you know how you always find that perfect place when you're roasting your marshmallow or whatever? Move around and find that perfect place for this as well. So you can find a spot that's not doing any flaring and it's got that good heat source.
Lydia's losing her bacon. I give up. Yeah, sometimes it does rip. I've noticed that too. The times I've made that, it does sometimes rip on the top. That's why I tried to kind of wad it up just a
I have
little
to
bit.
tell you guys, I mean, I've never made one and I'm feeling pretty good about this. It's like,
special.
yeah, I think I'm doing really well for my first time.
There are better.
All right. I'm gonna have. Oh no, I'm not gonna have you hold that.
Does it matter if it's a thick or thin bacon?
I feel like the thin bacon's gonna be better because it's going to, like, mine's cooking pretty evenly, and it's covered it without being so thick that it's gonna take so much time to cook thoroughly. So I would definitely go with the thinner bacon. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Foamy.
So our butter has melted beautifully. I don't know. I'm going to try not to spill it.
And you did.
And I did. So the butter is all melted. I'm going to set it over here so that we can use that here in just a minute.
The nice thing about the little cast iron thing is it'll keep your butter melted for quite a while.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Holds that heat
Because
as
it
well.
holds the heat, yes.
I'm gonna take all of her perfect, but bacon and ruin it in the time that I have it. That we have a better view.
Yes.
Okay.
Bella, can you go find a plastic spoon? Maybe?
Okay. So how's everybody's packets coming along? Has anybody checked
No,
them?
no, don't move that. We can just use a fork. It's okay.
No, there's forks in the room.
No, not that. There's forks in that thing right there. To scoop the cream cheese out for our pickles. We're getting
Any feedback on anybody's packets?
Not yet, but if
Oh, that's good.
as they're cooking, definitely type that in our chat feature or the Q&A for us.
I'm going to pull mine off so I can peek at it and see how it's doing. So I'm going to open it and all right, I'm going to open it up and see. I don't know if you can kind of see any of it. And they are, so my summer squash is great. Potatoes are pretty well done. I can almost, I can poke them good. And then of course the meat's already cooked, so that's really good. And my onions are beautiful. And it looks like my peppers. Mine's done. And it's awesome.
Perfect. We just got some feedback from Tina, and she said that they did cabbage and brats and 2 packets of veggies because they're cooking for 5 people at home.
Nice. Very good. How's it cooked?
That's the best part about tin foil is it cools off so quickly. Can I have that fork back?
All right. I am going to dump mine on my plate so you guys can get a better view of the completed process. It's a little windy, so I'm working with that as well. But you can see how nicely my onions brown. And so that's awesome because I love that flavor that it provides. And then the food, is it showing up pretty good or not?
Yep, it looks good.
Very good. Thank you. Here may I have,
Oh, she took it off for me. How sweet.
now have,
My carrots are even soft.
Nice, you've had that on there for a long time. Yep. At least 3-4 minutes.
okay, so now,
I'm kidding.
I gotta wait. I'll be right back.
So is everybody ready to move on, or need a little more time yet?
We have some wood running out.
Okay.
Okay, so normally when we're out at the campsite or whatever, a lot of times I'll have like a little wash bowl, and so that I can rinse my hands off and have just a crusty towel that I can use to wipe everything off on my hands and stuff like that. So obviously here I did not have that, so I ran inside and washed. But that's something I always do for myself, just so that it gives me, from having to run back and forth, a little cleaning station for everything. So where are we at?
I just asked if everybody was ready to move on, or need a few minutes yet.
And so next,
Are we moving on to desserts? We better do the bananas first.
Okay.
That's a dessert.
Okay, we're getting some more feedback here that the packets are good. They're still eating. And the dread show that hit our state here a few weeks ago had brought tons of wood to their area. So they're more than welcome to share if people need firewood.
right? Right. Come and get it, right?
And then we got a comment also on the crescent dogs turned out great.
Yay! That's awesome. I know I'll be excited to go and see what different things there are. I think pretzel dogs would be really fun to try.
Oh, yeah.
If you could roll those out, even cutting them in half, if like the breadstick was too much, you could actually cut that in half and roll it out and then use it that way to wrap around your hot dog. I mean, maybe you want that much bread. I don't want that much. So I would definitely half it, roll it skinnier, and then wrap it that way. The garlic is perfection on mine. I recently became obsessed with a company called Flavor Gods that have tons and tons and tons of different styles of flavoring, and they're all very they don't contain salt, so they're like a healthier option for you if you were interested in that. A lot of them are gluten-free for those people that have struggles with that, but they have like a ton of flavors. He's having great sales right now. But I have bought a bunch of those and been playing with them, and they are amazing. I forgot to grab them and bring them tonight, or I would have showed you a few of them that I have. But they have like a ranch, they have garlic lovers, they have an everything, a spicy everything. Yeah, tons and tons, but nice because they're easy to, they would go with a lot of different foods, so you wouldn't have to have a bunch of them in your camper or with your stuff, and it could go on a plethora of options.
Little warning with your pickles: when you bite into them, sometimes hot pickle juice will come out the other end.
Did you hear Christina with that? She just took a bite of her pickle and it had hot pickle juice that went spraying. So I'll be cutting mine. So good. And you know, I don't want to brag or anything, but this is what I call like perfection. It's perfectly cooked. It stayed on. I don't know how I got so lucky to have the best pickle, but I did. So I'm gonna take mine off and I'm gonna let it cool a little bit, and then I'll be adding cream cheese to it, and I will cut mine. All right.
Got some folks that agreed with you, Chanel. They thought it looked good too.
Thank you. All
Now,
right, so
I can see you.
we're gonna start the bananas. Yeah. And I'm gonna let you start with that
Hey
one.
girls, bring over banana. This is what my girls have been waiting for all night. So you take your banana, leave it in the peel. It works best if you can get like the stem end off. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut that end off. It just works better for wrapping it, and then you'll cut a slit in between and the peel. You don't want to do it all the way to the ends because you want to keep your ends kind of sealed up, but then kind of loosen it up around the edges. And then you can fill it in with whatever you would like. If you would like marshmallows, chocolate chips, peanut butter
Please
chips.
be quiet. I can't hear. Be quiet.
And you can just sprinkle those along the edges. We have bought some toffee bits. I bought some maraschino cherries. It's just basically whatever you think sounds good to go with your banana boats. And then just go ahead and kind of fill in those edges. Okay, what are you gonna stick in there, Bella? Yeah, she does everything usually. There you go.
You may need to move that bowl that's right in front of you, Christina, just a little bit, and folks can see what you're doing. There you go.
I'm gonna have one.
Hey, Kirk, will you stick in your banana boat? You want just a cherry in there? Just one thing?
Marshmallows?
Okay, do you want peanut butter in yours? Vance won't eat one of these, so.
I've never had one of these, so I'm excited.
We had one for breakfast.
Yep, we did once.
Practice.
Yep. We made the campfire donuts and banana boats. That's just we wrap them up in foil anyway. So. I'm excited to try the toffee. Last time I didn't do toffee.
So there are certain things if you wanted to add at the end, like if you didn't want me, I would not put my cherry on until at the end. So that's the nice thing too, is you have choices on where you want it. If you just want all your chocolates and marshmallow to melt, just put those things in and add everything else after.
Mom, you didn't even add a cherry for me.
Be direct. That's all. Getting dessert tonight. Yes. The cherry an hour later.
I want it.
So is anybody out there camping? Are they really doing all of this by a campground in a tent or in a camper and not at home?
I had a question on the bananas. Are
Yes.
the bananas cut or just the peel?
Just the peel, because you'll shove in stuff in. So here I've got what I want in mine, and I'm not going to spill stuff like Sean does.
I'll catch it.
So you can see I just have it all crammed in there next to the peel. So that's why it's a boat. So then once you get what you want in there, you'll have to take a chunk of tin foil.
Got another question regarding the banana. Do we put the banana in tin foil?
Yes, that's the next step. Yep.
I'm ready.
Any tricks to how you fold up your foil?
You just have to make sure you keep that seam to the top, because you need to keep the seam up top while you're cooking it, or you will lose everything inside. So just kind of wrap it up loosely, and then what works best is to stick it along the edge of the fire.
Because you're not really roasting it, you're really just wanting to melt everything.
Yes.
We're getting a few folks answer your question to them. We have some folks that are out in their backyard doing this. We have some that are in their backyard at a rental house in Omaha.
Cool.
Folks that are watching on the couch, dreaming of the next time they go out.
I got you. Well, hopefully the weather is good where everyone is at and they can enjoy something maybe this weekend.
Yep, and once we get these on the fire and going, then we'll show you how to make your donuts, and you can work on those while your banana is cooking. Are you done here, Bella? Oh, I might as well peel out some of the banana. Don't cut the end all the way off. Should have listened to directions.
While you guys are working on getting the bananas on before the next step, I've launched our first poll. So right now we're finding out how many folks are watching with family members and friends tonight.
All right. I obviously didn't follow directions, so we'll see how mine turns out.
What are you eating?
My Hobo Packet.
We got just a general comment from Cheryl. She's looking forward to doing all these great recipes with her grandsons that are age 7, 6, and 2.
Oh, very good. That will be so much fun.
Are you just putting that on?
Nope.
I have some toffee bits in mine, and now I'm gonna do a little peanut butter.
Oh, we make those. There we go. Yep.
Okay, are we back up on the one on our kitchen supplies? Oh, did we skip the poll?
It's already gone. Good.
Just sharing our results real quick. So we got about 23% of our viewers that participated are watching it by themselves. About 40% are watching with another individual. 20% are watching with 2 people. 3% are watching with 3. We got 10% that are watching with 4. And then we got 3% that are watching with 5 or more people tonight.
Awesome.
We got a few comments / questions that came in. Sarah, she's watching at her kitchen table with her 7-month-old. They're going camping a few weekends, and they're definitely going to make some of these.
Wonderful.
And then Sarah also wrote that her husband also signed up because he didn't realize what BOW stood for.
Hey, we are totally cool with that.
What are you doing? Are you a cat?
All right, I'm folding my banana up. I'll get mine going on. And since I cut mine wrong, I'm being very diligent with my folding. So we'll see if I can save it. All right. Set mine up here. Perfect. All right, we'll let those go. About how long do they usually take?
30 minutes.
10-ish, I think.
10-ish?
Okay.
10 to 20, just depends on your fire.
Okay.
Okay.
So if you have those good coals going and you've got a lot of heat coming up, I would probably check it after about 10 minutes and see where it's sitting and if it's ready to be eaten.
Okay, so for the donuts, hopefully you guys are ready to go on. We've got everybody here. You take your Grand's biscuits. We already have some open, and we you cut them into quarters. Sorry, looking at the wrong tab here. So you cut them into quarters and then just kind of roll them into a loose ball. And then you'll slide them onto your stick, your roaster, or your other one. These, we did have problems with these spinning some. So I am going to try to stick 2 side by side and see if that kind of helps them hold a little bit better. And then you just roast these chunks over the fire until they're done.
Here, I need to take this one.
No big deal. I'm just gonna gain 8 pounds today.
Mom, I forgot to leave this one over there. Oh, don't fall backwards.
All right.
Okay. So I feel like maybe this could be the kind of same scenario. As they cook, they're probably going to puff up a little bit. And so as they puff up, maybe give them that opportunity. And when you rotate them, they might be better at staying where you've got them positioned.
We did try these with the real stick too, and they still kind of spun on the real stick.
Okay. Well, they're buttery. And so that would explain.
While folks are waiting on those to cook, do you each want to share with you maybe your favorite open fire cooking recipe, even if we couldn't cook it tonight?
Oh my gosh. Let me think, because there's so many.
No, because I'll be in the sandwich with them. We're going to do something.
Yeah.
So probably for me, and it's something that we obviously did not do tonight, is we used to make omelets. Now, this is 20 some years ago. So to put a plastic bag in boiling water today, probably not something I would do. But then I did it like it was no big deal. But today you could use like reusable silicone bags. You could use, if you have a vacuum sealer and you wanted to do that without the vacuum part of it. But we would make a bunch of eggs and then we would put them into your bag and any of the cookings that you wanted. So if you had your zucchini or your peppers or onions, any kind of toppings that you wanted to add to it. If there was meat involved, we cooked the meat prior to, and then added the cooked meat into the raw eggs. And so then we would have a rolling boil pot over our fire, and you would dip the bag into it and cook the eggs that way. And then you had your own individual omelet, the scrambled omelet, but then we would do that. The other thing that is one of my favorites is fry bread. Did you ever do fry bread over fire? And so we would, a lot of times it's a Native American recipe that we used for the fry bread, and we would cook it on a thin pan over the fire. I don't know that would be something that I'm trying to think if you could somehow incorporate it onto a stick. If maybe you took the dough, because it's like a heavy.
Foil.
Oh, yes, you could do it on the foil. So you could either spray your foil down or you could use your butter. But look up fry bread. And then we would take, after it was cooked, and dip it in honey and cinnamon and sugar. And it was probably one of my very favorites.
My favorite would be hobo bowls. I just love them because there's so much you can do. Like, it's always different, even if it's the exact same.
Yeah.
I really do like the pickles.
I haven't had a pickle yet. I haven't eaten mine. That might become my favorite.
Just throw steak on. Yeah. One of the things that I do with summer camp kids a lot, which we're not doing tonight, and they absolutely love, is something called apple pie on a stick.
Oh, yeah.
And all you do is you shove a stick through a core of an apple, and you roast it over the fire basically until the skin all turns black, because all the juice will boil up out of the apple, and it causes the skin to split and cook. And then you gotta let it cool for just a few minutes, and then you peel off the skin with your fingers and then roll it in cinnamon and sugar. And then just eat it.
Delicious.
I don't want to get any more brown. Okay, I'm
Yours
saying
looks
mine.
perfect.
Yep, mine are done. So we'll come over here.
Can I have one? Please. Please.
Wait, they're kind of hot yet. So this is what your melted butter is for. So you'll pop these off of your stick, dip it all over in the melted butter, and then roll it in cinnamon and sugar.
Yum.
Pull down just a little bit.
I want to have one.
While you guys are going over your favorites, Rebecca, that's joining us tonight, sent in her favorite, and it's Tortilla Pizza.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Please explain.
Rebecca, if you're willing to explain that to all of us, raise your hand and I'll go ahead and let you unmute yourself and you can talk to the group.
That'd be awesome.
Hey, it's super easy and my kids love it. You just, what's that?
That it sounds delicious.
Oh yeah, it's super easy. You just take tortillas and then you kind of like, put it on. You need like one of those, either a grill thing or like a piece of tin foil that's a little bit up,
Yep.
And then you want to spray some cooking oil on it so it doesn't stick. And then you kind of like cook it on both sides. And then you just like throw some pizza sauce on and cheese. And then you let the kids kind of pick out their toppings.
I love it.
Yeah, it cooks really fast. And then you bring a pizza cutter so you can cut it up into slices and stuff. And it's really fast and easy. And they love it because they get to pick what they put on it.
Yes. And you can do 100 different variations with that. You can make breakfast pizzas. You could do any kind of stuff. That would be awesome. Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. Hi. Oh, that's Bridget. She says hi to the girl.
Hi.
Can you wave at her?
Way better.
Kaden says hi, Christina.
Hi. Hi, Bridget.
Kaden says hi back.
Yeah, Bridget. You remember Bridget?
That sounds so good, though.
Hi.
All right. You done?
Hi.
Yeah, you can kind of tell when the little biscuit's done because of how it bounces back when you touch it.
I want to live on these. Lydia kind of likes them a lot. A lot.
Very, very good. Those are super easy to do, and you could do a whole bunch of them if you didn't want to just eat them while they're just freshly done. But if there was one individual moms out there stuck making them for everybody, we know it happens. You can make a whole plate full of them, and I think they would probably be just as good warm as cooled off.
No.
I know both of you ladies do a lot of camping and cook most of your meals. Could you guys go through maybe each of you what you would cook for breakfast, lunch, and supper on a Saturday? Folks are definitely interested in stuff different than just hot dogs and hamburgers.
Well, this weekend, Chanel and I were supposed to camp, but her camper's not functional right now. We won't get into that because she'll get very angry.
Yes. Not a good subject.
But so Saturday morning for breakfast, I made some Dutch oven baked French toast and then something called a breakfast hammering, which is a combination between ground up ham and sausage. And then you mix in some breadcrumbs and a couple different seasonings and I think a couple of eggs. For lunch, we really didn't eat much because we didn't eat breakfast until late.
Yep.
So we just snacked. And then for supper on Saturday night, Chanel and her husband did come out and still joined us for the day. We had meatballs, triple corn casserole, and caramel apple upside down cake.
Yes. That was
So the fun thing is, and if you join us for our Dutch oven class that we're going to be Zooming, you'll find a lot of this out. Anything that you can cook anywhere can be done in a Dutch oven. Don't give me a challenge because I promise you I will make it happen. For us, I will do a lot of times. I've got my family addicted to a sausage and gravy bake.
Oh, yum.
it's probably one of the simplest things you can make. And lately I've been adding more stuff to it. So like the veggies that are in season right now, I'll just add those into the mix. It does not call for eggs, but I scrambled eggs and I put eggs into it the last time that I made it. And we can pop these things up. If we don't do it today, I know for sure that we'll put recipes of things that we talk about for the Dutch oven class that we're going to do. But that would be our breakfast. And again, we kind of skip lunch. So we might get out some vegetables and dip and some cheese. Just have like a little charcuterie. That. We'll have a little tray of that or whatever. And then we will do a bigger supper. And so supper for us could consist of a number of different things. Some stew. We can have, yeah. So I make a deer stew, and so I will cook everything for quite some time during the day. And then I discovered that I can make beer bread in my stones. I have camper chest stones. So I will put in my like 16-inch Dutch oven. I'll put 2 loaves of beer bread in there, and we'll cook that. And then always dessert. So there's who knows what I'm going to come up with. We've discovered marshmallow brownies. I just for the first time, I brought this up to make this apple upside down cake. It was amazing. And I couldn't find a recipe again, but I kind of just guessed at what it needed to do, and it turned out wonderful. So anything that you can cook, it's kind of a challenge. We'll just find something silly and goofy, and we'll see what we can create from there.
So I've decided to try to put 4 of my the donuts on here. So I just pop them off now so I can turn them because they're not quite done because they keep spinning. So we're just going to resituate and stick them back on. So that one might be done. What's that one? We will check that out.
Wendy had some comments that she would like to share with the group. So she says she makes donut holes with refrigerated biscuits by frying them in hot oil. Then they shake them in a paper bag with cinnamon and sugar.
Yes. That sounds delicious.
She had another easy snack is foil packet popcorn. So it's basically homemade Jiffy Pop. So they create a foil packet out of heavy duty foil, toss in a teaspoon or so of cooking oil, a few tablespoons of popcorn and salt, and then they put it on a grate over the fire and use tongs to shake it occasionally until it's done popping.
I love it.
Is my favorite.
And we try and do the Jiffy Pop a lot of times, but what a smart way to do that. And because I'm not going to go buy the Jiffy Pop, but I will do that. I'll be trying that the next time we're out.
What really works we do a lot of over the fire popcorn too, but it's technically an antique.
I know what you're talking about.
It's
Good
like
luck
a pan
finding
that you
them.
spin.
They're
No,
not easy to find.
It's it's black. It's got a handle, and it's basically solid grating. It's kind of circle, and then the lid kind of slides off. You have to like hook it and slide it on and clip it in place. And I had a friend that just asked me about where to get one because she knew we had one, and I'm like, well, they're antique. She found one on eBay for $50.
Yeah, I'll be doing the foil. Thank you for that insight.
But yeah, if you watch garage sales and antique shops, sometimes you can get them.
Very good. All right, I'm just going to share with you guys. I'm just now eating my pickle, and she might be right. This could be my new favorite thing. It's awesome, and it's pretty cool now, and it's still really, really good. But I'm not eating my camera.
While you're finishing up cooking your donuts, could you share with us maybe what's your favorite outdoor cooking hack?
Foil for cleaning up Dutch ovens.
Definitely. Yep. Definitely. Trying to think of what else.
Stacking Dutch ovens.
Oh, that's huge too. That was a game changer for us.
Yep, my banana is done.
I'm going to think about mine, and then when it pops into my head, I will definitely share with you guys. But there's like so many silly things I guess I just take for granted that are probably hacks. I know if you are a tent camper, a great hack that we discovered, 10 years into camping was to decide what your meals are going to be
and stack them in accordance in your cooler. So we would, yeah, so that you would start with, you know, the first thing that you were going to consume all the way down. So you would do breakfast, lunch, and dinner for each day, so that you, every time you opened, that was all you were getting out. So you weren't digging through and opening it up over and over and over. So that was a huge thing. Once I discovered to do something like that, I was very happy, because it saved us from all of our ice melting and things like that. Just getting into the cooler a lot less. Jeremy led.
I know we didn't cook any fish tonight, but we had some questions on the proper preparation of cooking fish over open fire.
Don't ask me, I don't like fish.
So I would definitely say that you're going to want to do the heavy duty foil. Without a doubt, do not have
all of
the
the
thin
butter.
stuff. If you're going to use the thin stuff, I would say layer it probably 4 thickness, because you want to create that steamed pouch, in which you do that in your oven. But you just don't want to have it on that direct heat, because it's a delicate meat. And so for me, I would definitely make sure that I created a nice buttered surface and seasoned it well. And I would seal it up, would not flip it. I would definitely check my time and get a sense of the heat. And I say that because, like they say so often, if you can hold your hand over it for so many seconds, then it's probably about 350. There's different techniques that you can do to decide that. So then you can kind of determine how long that's going to need to cook from there. But don't check it until you know you're at that time frame. Then you could get in there and check it and see where you're at as far as the cooking process.
I don't know if this is so much cooking, but it helps with the cooking, but like just camping and fire, but like the blow tubes, because it keeps everything hot without creating a flame.
That's very true. So there's a lot of different blow tubes out there. I've seen ones that actually fold up. I have 1 or 2 of those. And so they're like called a pocket. I can't remember what the technical term is. My son made me some, and we had seen them at a Pioneer thing. But it's like
Buckskinning.
Yeah, it was a buckskin thing. But it's like a 2 foot long or 3 foot long tube. And it's a 1/2 inch tubing. And then you can blow down into, like Lydia said, down into the bottom of the fire.